Alrighty, so apparently, I didn't know she was streaming herself from her phone while this was going on. Talk about disrespectful, first of all. But let's see what she was doing.
The woman and the position that she's currently seeing or not seeing. As a
Great view, huh?
Catholic, I don't support abortion, but I do support women's health and access to health care. And I think it's important that we understand that currently Roe v. Wade is the law of the land for this country.
Thank you. And the same question for you. The same question for you, Isa. How do you feel about abortion, and should Roe versus Wade be overturned by the Supreme Court?
Yes, I'm pro-life. I think we need to promote life. Everybody here had an opportunity to live, and so I think it's extremely important that we promote life. As far as the Roe versus Wade, it's the established law right now. Whether it should be overturned or not, obviously it's going to be up to the Supreme Court to decide. I don't think I need to inject myself in there but I will tell you I'm pro-life. And it's a very touchy subject, I understand. But I don't think the government should be getting too involved with what's going on in your bedroom and in the operating table and stuff like that. So it's not one of the issues that that is easy. I think it's a lot of people. It's a very, very complex issue.
Thank you so much. And the next same question for you, John.
As a Christian, I believe in the sanctity of life. As a lawyer, I believe that women who are in this particular position, I believe are facing unsurmountable odds. The decision that they have before them is not one that they should easily take. However, I believe that women should have a choice. There has to be reasonable legislation to allow that. However, I believe that the government has no place in making a one-size-fits-all type of law that fits every single woman in every single situation. Every single woman that has that decision in front of her must consider that between her medical providers, and her clergy if she's religious or not. That's her decision to make, and she's gonna have to live with that decision. Therefore, Roe v. Wade is the law right now. I believe the Supreme Court is considering it. And as a congressman, I will abide by whatever the Supreme Court says.
Thank you. And the same question for you, Benjamin.
My body, my choice. That's what I've heard a lot, and I still hear it a lot. However, it only applies to abortion, but it doesn't apply to vaccines, right? Anyway, nobody has the right to decide to take the life of a child at the moment of conception. That child, that is a human life, according to science. We've got to follow science, right? So I do believe that the only time that there should be any type of abortion is when a mother's life is in danger, such as an ectopic pregnancy. It's unavoidable. But because somebody decided to go out and didn't use protection, I don't believe that they have the right to say, oops, I'm going to kill my baby.
Thank you. And we're welcoming Vanessa now to this forum. Vanessa, we're going to go off script and give you your 1 minute to introduce yourself, and then I'm going to ask that question of you as well.
My name is Vanessa Stephanie Tijerina. I'm a 9th generation Texan. I'm running for this seat because my experience in Texas has been an experience that I don't want anybody else's experience to be. This forum is not the forum for all of you to understand exactly what my story is, but I promise you this. Out of all of the prolific stories you've heard, you have never heard a story of adversity from me. My story And the only way you'll see that is if you go to my political page, Vanessa S. Tijerina. I will explain it in English and in Spanish why I am the candidate of the people with Vanessa Stephanie Tijerina, Vanessa Stephanie Tijerina, Vanessa Stephanie Tijerina. No county will be left behind.
Thank you. And the question, how do you feel about abortion? Should Roe versus Wade be overturned by the Supreme Court?
No, it shouldn't, and this is why. The last person that spoke, I don't know who she is, but the thing is this, I'm gonna call out the hypocrisy because she tried to do that with the Democrats. So, my body, my choice. First of all, it's ectopic pregnancy. She pronounced it the wrong way. And she made it seem like if everybody that has an abortion goes out there and uses unprotected sex. That's not the case. Abstinence is the only thing that will 100% avoid a pregnancy. I know because I've been a nurse since 1998. I think I'm the only one up here with 25 years of healthcare experience. So when somebody wants to use hateful rhetoric regarding this, I'm gonna call it out. So if the Republicans would like to say my body, my choice when it comes to vaccines, well, my body, my choice as a female and as a nurse and as a mom and as a mother of daughters, Roe versus Wade should not be overturned. It's a law of the land, follow it.
Thank you. And the same question for you, Angela.
Abortion is bad, and I think that as far as the Constitution scholars have stated, that it should be overturned by the Supreme Court and it should go to the states. And supporting this government. I think it should go to the state, and as a Republican and as a woman, I'll vote for the American side of the Congress division. And I will make the concessions. For instance,
What did she just say there?
while working as economic but not just see children that are 2 years old, now as women here, speaking to women here, please, our milestone is marked by by minister parents.
Do you mind if I go back to see what she whispered? She whispered something.
So I will not deviate from supporting instance.
Thank you. And the same question for you, Lorraine.
Let me go back.
And it should go to the states.
1998. My body, my choice.
Thank you. And the same
She
question
whispered
for you,
something.
Angela.
Let's see if we can catch it.
Abortion is bad, and I think that as far as the Constitution scholars have stated, that it should be overturned by the Supreme Court and it should go to the states. And supporting this government. I think it should go to the state, and as a Republican and as a woman, I'll vote for the Attorney General's office of Congress division. And I will make three concessions. For incest, rape, and the life of the mother. While working as economic groups, I got to see children that are 2 years old, and I'm going to be background to be physical.
Something about what time they were going to be done or something like that.
Our milestone is marked by by minister parents.
What up,
There's
Chuck?
some children that are 2 years old, and they're ready for this mark for pregnancy. So I will not deviate from supporting instance.
Thank you. And the same question for you, Lorraine.
I respectfully disagree with my Republican colleagues, but I respect their position as to where they are, right? Now, Roe v. Wade is established by established law. It's a law of the land. We need to respect the law of the land. But more so, it is a woman's choice. Nobody should be getting in between a woman and her doctor, and anybody else she chooses. It's that simple.
Thank you. And the same question for you, Lorraine.
I guess I would just have to ask, is that woman in the womb still on the same right as that woman who's carrying the child in the womb? I'm against abortion, absolutely against abortion, completely against abortion. If you're not sure, I'm against abortion. And I do think that Roe v. Wade should be overturned. I do realize that it's a sensitive issue. I do realize that it's a difficult thing for some women in the situations that they're in. But I also believe that, as was mentioned, all men and women
It's because people don't know her. So
the image of God.
people that are just learning about her, they don't do the research. We've talked about this before.
And so I am.
They don't do the research, and they just hear her sob story and think she's a victim.
And I would love to share the story of a friend of mine right here from Marie, about Marie, who lived in the American dream, whose mom was told to have an abortion under very, very difficult circumstances. But Marie is an absolute picture of the American dream, being a business owner right here in the Rio Grande Valley.
No, have you taken this question yet? It's your turn next.
I will speak about this from two perspectives. One, as a person who taught science in college, I know that that is life. That is life. But life even before conception is what I'm saying. As a Jewish man and a man of faith, I also know that there's only one creator. Jeremiah, I knew you before I met you. There's only one creator. I'm talking about innocent life. So I definitely feel that this law needs to be overturned and not fast enough.
Sorry about that, Michelle. It's your turn.
Absolutely. So I'm a loud and proud pro-choice Democratic candidate, and the reason for that is because I view abortion as fundamental access to health care. When I jumped into this race, I was a first-time candidate. I am. And the first person who I had a conversation with was my grandmother, and I told her my stance. And I told her I was going to have to be having this conversation in front of her.
I'm sorry, but my opinion only, abortion is not health care. I hate when they say those things that there's like they're the same. They're not the same. Having an abortion is not health care. Again, my opinion.
Women in their positions, not with men, not with politicians. We must restore the dignity into the families of our communities here in South Texas, and that's why the conversation about abortion should be preserved with our homes and within the power of women and their doctors. Thank you.
Thank you. And I've been told that we're running out of time, so we're going to ask one more question before we have the closing remarks. First of all, Isaac, you can take this one first. What steps do you support, if any, to prevent both mass shootings and everyday gun violence in the U.S.?
Yes, thank you. It's critically important to have safe schools. I think we need to have a strong law enforcement presence at all the schools, because a lot of the shooters, they'll look for a weak spot. If they see a school with no security, no police officers, that's the school they're going to hit. So we need to make sure that law enforcement are visible in our schools to try and deter any of these shootings. As far as overall nationwide, there's a lot of shootings out there, particularly in the big cities, and I think it goes back to the funding the police. That movement, unfortunately, got rid of a lot of police officers, and and now those same people are wondering, hey, why is there such a long response time? Where's the police? Well, you just defunded them, so that's why they're not responding.
Thank
so
you.
We've got a big problem there. Thank you.
Thank you. The same question for you, John. What steps do you support, if any, to prevent both mass shootings and everyday gun violence in the U.S.?
I'm absolutely, I'm a hunter. I own guns. I enjoy them, and I believe in the Second Amendment. But the problem isn't the guns; it's the people holding the guns. And if we can't address that problem, we're never gonna solve this issue. The people need health care, mental health care. We need to have a system in place where we can evaluate people that have mental conditions and deny access to guns to that population. So, I don't think it's going to be an easy solution, but it's one that absolutely we need to work on fast. That's all I can say.
Thank you. The same question for you, Angela.
Look, we know that criminals, regardless of the laws that are put in place, they're always going to use their guns. They don't care about the law. We can tighten the laws up, make it harder to own a gun, but they're still going to have guns, and they're still going to go out and they're going to still commit crimes.
Rona.
So why would we punish law-abiding citizens and take away their Second Amendment rights? We shouldn't. We know that there are consequences of gun violence, and we do know that we need to take some steps, some actions, but taking away our gun rights or tightening them up so that we can't carry is not the answer.
Thank you. And the same question for you, Vanessa.
Oh, here we go.
We need to take care of the underlying causes. I am pro Second Amendment. That's one thing the Democrats have a problem with me, is that I'm pro Second Amendment. I was raised in one of the most rural areas of the Rio Grande Valley, so I understand the need for property owners to be able to have guns to defend their property. But two, as a survivor of domestic violence, I completely understand the need for us women to be able to protect ourselves. However, the steps that need to be taken to ensure, first of all, I think we need to do some kind of research on what the effect of presence of law enforcement will have on our students. And is it a positive thing to have a law enforcement presence in our students, amongst our students? Is it going to make a divide between students and law enforcement? That may or may not be a good thing. We need more studies about that. But what we need to do is we need to vet these people. There's people with mental health issues, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Et cetera, et cetera,
What
et
steps
cetera.
do you support, if any, to prevent both mass shootings and everyday gun violence in the US?
I'm for the Second Amendment. I believe that I'm not a gun, but I believe that even if they have a gun or guns, then they should be allowed to run in rural America or military. It's pretty rough out there in the sanctuary area, and there's a lot of violence out there. But I believe that we need to just, I need to support it. As far as I would say is that because I don't really understand what the answer is to a certain why mass shootings are happening. And I think we probably listen to the parties that need to be involved, whether it's mental issues, whether it's the police departments, whether it's the scholars.
Paul, you mean yada, 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 yada.
And provide the resources so that then we can stop these mass shootings. And as far as gun violence, I think that that is an issue that is hard because a lot of that stuff is economic. It's irresponsibility for people who just feel that they can just get money. It's a difficult issue, but it doesn't
Rona.
have education resources.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the same question for you, Ben.
I support the Second Amendment, right? As the only veteran here on this stage, on this side, I love shooting. I was an expert marksman in the military, always qualified. Now, the steps that we do need to take is to make sure that we're closing the loopholes, right? The gun show loopholes, and making sure that we're doing background checks. Criminals, like my Republican counterparts say, they're gonna get their hands on weapons, right? So you need to make sure that you have your own, or should be able to have your own to be able to defend yourself. Now, the issue is mental health. We need to make sure that we expand healthcare so that we can get people that mental health that they need and deserve. We also need to expand background checks, right? If there's any kind of like soft flags, so we can continue to do more research on that. And in addition to that, we need to make sure that we have proper firearms training for those that are equipped with weapons. But we also need to make sure that we're training our law enforcement community to be able to de-escalate what they call verbal judo, but making sure that they're also properly funded.
Thank you very much. Same question for you, what steps do you support, if any, to prevent both mass shootings and everyday gun violence in the US?
I remember several years ago, there was a shooting in Colorado, horrified, 2 days after the incident, on the radio, they said that the entire community was surprised because these two young men came from very successful parents. My immediate response, I'm yelling at the radio, what does successful mean? And so I think the real problem, as many people have pointed out here, the real problem is not a gun problem.
This question in South Texas is a little different than I expect others answering around the country. And I myself did grow up being taught how to properly handle a gun. And I practice with my friends and loved ones because I truly believe that it is part of the culture and it's part of our home life here in South Texas. But with that said, I do believe it's important that we do not allow big donors like the NRA, billion-dollar guns manufacturers, to be influencing our laws and our policies that make it harder and more dangerous for families and for people like us to properly have safe gun measures in place. We definitely need to expand background checks. We need to look into red flag laws and make sure that we are keeping our community safe. I just want to say one more thing as a small business owner. Every time the state of Texas changes the law on how to have open carry and when you're allowed to carry guns, really deeply affects
Yes, Paul.
our small businesses.
Sorry, Chuck. Yes, that's correct.
And the same question to you.
Having previously an A rating.
Oh my God, Christy, you nailed it.
Very important key here. I think if there's a person, give me an analogy with mental health, who injures somebody in an automobile, that's the issue right there. We don't take the automobile away from law-abiding citizens. We don't do that. And
Well,
it's
she
the
would
same
call
thing
herself a
with,
victim. That's why.
I would encourage the proper classes for people to be more aware on carrying. And it's important to know that, you know, in a class like that, you understand that the last thing you want to do.
If she can pull off the whole victim thing,
But it's critical.
you know, normally that should backfire, right, Chris? But for her, I don't know. You got to remember, right around 70,000 people voted for her last time. 70,000. That's not peanuts.
I support the Second Amendment, and as some of my colleagues have stated this evening, I also think that education is a key in avoiding mass shootings. I think the expansion of background checks is important. I think it's important that we have people with mental health issues that are flagged properly when they go to gun shows and they want to purchase guns on the spot. I think it's important that as a community, we come together and we talk about these issues. So those are the steps I would take.
So for those of you who didn't hear, she was late arriving, and apparently she was doing a live while she was driving in. And when she got to the parking lot, she crashed. So as far as I'm concerned, unless I hear different, she's a hit and run. And she parked her car. It's all crooked and stuff. I just got sent photos from that from someone. So yeah, she was in an accident on her way in the parking lot. There's damage to the cars to prove it. And she might have even referred to it while she was live.
was mentally ill. 26 people lost their lives that day. That is my church. I teach Sunday school at that church. That is a wonderful family of believers. And that was a tragic, tragic thing. But those people are overcomers. Evil did not win that day. Evil will not win today. Evil will not win tomorrow. We have to have the courage to look evil in the eye and say no more. Are there things that the federal government can do to help lessen the mental health issue? Yes, we can put more money into mental health issues. And as individuals, we need to be responsible individuals.
Thank you, sir. That completes all the questions we have time for today. It doesn't complete all the questions. I think we've done 8 out of 18. We're really sorry we didn't get to the other 10, but we didn't allow ourselves enough time. But I want to thank all the candidates. We've just got the closing remarks now. 1.5 minutes, 1 minute 30 seconds for each candidate. We started with the Democrats when we were opening, so let's start with the Republicans with the closing remarks. Again, we're going on ballot order as ballot came out for without counting. So that means you guys are starting.
Oh, Danielle, you have no idea. You should
Thank
you should watch
Mr.
some of
Alejandro.
this.
Thank you for being here. It shows that you guys are interested
Do some
in
research
what's
on
going on,
her
and
page.
give me a good feeling, knowing
It's
that you guys care about your own community.
I think you'll be
Great.
shocked.
You're sending to Congress as your next Congress, and I'm gonna be your voice out there. I'm gonna represent you. I'm gonna negotiate and talk with all the people out there, Republicans, Democrats, everybody. But ultimately, I'm gonna tell them, hey, I need to check with my constituents. Those are my bosses. So I'm gonna make sure that they don't forget that. So I think I can put my experience to work, 25 years working for Border Patrol. I've dealt with all kinds of people. I've got great experience. I think it uniquely qualifies me for this position. And, I want to put, God first, life, and family. I think it's very important. Those are core values that this country was founded on. And the Constitution, it's very critically important to support and defend our Constitution. Strong border, strong military, smaller, more efficient government, and cut some of the wasteful spending, and get back to being energy independence. It's critically important. We need to support our teachers, our law enforcement, our seniors, and our veterans. So, being a law enforcement person, I will be the strongest advocate of Border Patrol, strongest advocate of DPS and all our state and local law enforcement. I want to put District 15 first and America first. Thank you.
Thank you. And the same to you, Angela.
First of all, thank you all for allowing me the time to be able to share with you how what I've learned in my professional life as an administrator in public schools and how it actually applies in the broader sense when we're discussing the problems.
And just again, I'm monitoring her page, waiting for her to go live, which she most certainly will.
More concerned about applying
Put
that
money on it.
social ladder and more concerned about how they're going to do or what they're going to do to fundraise for the next campaign or get on TV or become a celebrity. So we need to ask this question: what happened to congressmen that are creating actual solutions for actual problems for our American taxpayers? And we have people
I hate when she looks
that
at the
are
camera
already
because it's like she's looking at me, and I just want
that
to
have
go.
already made commitments that are running. So we need to think wisely about who we choose to send to Congress. And when you come up to me, you shake my hand, we're going to talk about the issues that are important to you. I will listen to you. And you will know that a lot of times these professional politicians, they're not very good at listening. They're really good at talking, but not very good at listening. And that's one thing that I'm good at, is listening to other people. So I'm going to let Churchill listen to principles of Congress, because I can promise you that I will never allow a passing grade on my lunch.
And she's doodling. She's not writing anything.
Your closing remarks, Angela?
Thank you for being here and giving me this opportunity. I just want to let you know that I'm going to take America first, and I would like to be, when you understand that I will show leadership in everything that has to do with America. America has to be first, and we not here, economy back going, independence, and make America great. That's just, that's the basic. And I know Trump says that maybe America has to be great again. And we have to make it where everybody can succeed in America. And I would never be any police. I work with so many police officers, and like I said, I would not become a police officer. All God, Second Amendment, guns, and I think that one of the issues that I feel that we need to do, that it's not right there, is illegal immigration. I hear everybody talking about the majority of this area, but the impact of that's up in north, area of the country. And I think
Danielle, she's the candidate who was, we talked about this before, smoking a crack pipe on a live. This is her.
Because the root of it is E-Verify all jobs, including not just the state and federal jobs, but all jobs such as construction, hotels, restaurants, and
Really, Chuck? All right. Better should remember you than me.
We need to stop that, and you need to challenge your candidates and make them do E-Verify for all jobs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Ryan.
So when the forum is over, she goes on a few more minutes, so I'll leave it on.
I know this district well, and I look forward to serving you, to be your public servant. I think there are too many people in Washington that are in it for themselves. I'm in this to serve you. I think that my track record speaks for
That's
itself,
right.
that I've already done enough promises that I want to step.
She got beat up. She claimed she was.
I've built homes in this community.
The consensus is that she orchestrated it all,
Penetrated both McAllen and Mission.
and it really does look that way.
This community well. I'm not saying that to brag about myself. I'm saying that to say that I am a public servant. I look forward to serving you. I mentioned my faith a lot because I believe that's the core of who I am. And again, I get my conservative values from my Lord. God has created an incredible planet. He's created incredible people. You see the diversity sitting up here, which to me.
And now, in an effort to get some more popularity, perhaps from people that don't know her, she is jumping on the Melissa. Is it Leal? Shoot, I forget. I'm sorry. She's the Harlingen, Texas woman that's on death row, scheduled to be executed April 27th, I believe, for the murder of her 2-year-old daughter. And Lucio, I'm sorry, Melissa Lucio. There's a documentary on Hulu. Look that up too. So she's jumping on that bandwagon in full force, trying to get support from everybody.
Right. And now, your closing remarks, Milo?
One time in 2017, I ran 7 marathons on 7 continents
What's up, Lou?
in 7 days. I like a challenge. But this time, I'm not doing this to challenge myself.
I want to know about that dude who said he ran 7 marathons in 7 continents or in 5 continents in 7 days or something like that. He just said it right now.
That's what we need. We need somebody with solutions over the politics. Someone that has.
Yeah, Danielle, she's been like this forever.
At the start, already has some ideas of what laws are going to put in and try to get through, and somebody that has that kind of endurance, of course.
Yeah, just obvious facial bruising and inflammation, but you're right. Nothing broken.
We need leaders, not not cheerleaders, but there's not leaders. So we need somebody that will say to even the Speaker of the House, I'm sorry, but that's not what Gracie wants. And then they'll say, who's Gracie? And I'll say, exactly. People in DC have been there 5, 10, 15, 30 years. They're not up to that challenge. They haven't solved the problems. So I ask for your trust and your precious vote. My name is Mauro Garza. Mauro Garza for Congress.com. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Again, my name is Judge Sarah Kennedy. I've been serving 12 years as a Justice of the Peace Judge. I've been working.
I know, right? It's kind of creepy. It's very creepy.
I put together a budget. I'm a department head. I have employees. I have so much experience now, and I really appreciate and thank God for those experiences. In the Declaration of Independence, towards the end of the document, before it lists all the 27 grievances, it says, all experience has shown that mankind is more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing or changing that government to which they have become accustomed. And unfortunately, I think we as Americans have become too accustomed to a government that wants to tell us what to do, where to go, how to do it, how often, and just way too overbearing. I think we need to turn back the hands of time, go back to what our founding fathers intended for our country to be like, and have more personal responsibility, more fiscal responsibility, be responsible, and get government out of my pocketbook, get government out of my personal health care. I have personal responsibilities, you have personal responsibilities, and I think we need to pick up that mantle and do it. Stop looking to the federal government. I may be the congresswoman of no, but no new taxes. You cannot take away my basic rights. You cannot have my health care.
Thank you. Thank you. And now on to the Democrats. Closing remarks, 1 minute, 30 seconds each. Let's start with Michelle.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight for this conversation and all of us here. I am the Pueblo's candidate, and I'm asking for your vote and your support as I I'm seeking for the Democratic nomination to represent our beautiful district.
Hey, the House gets 10%, all right?
I am proud to be supported not only by the votes, but also by the United Farm Workers Union, and also by Wendy Davis, as well as the Young Texas Democrats. And our work does not start there. I'm asking everyone in this room and everyone watching online to join our team. We have only been in this race for 2 months, and I'm asking you to give me the chance to keep doing this work through November and into Congress, because I know that the work we are doing is healing our community, because we are broadening the way that
Angela, you forgot she's a biologist too. Don't forget, she's a biologist.
The realities that we face are not as complicated as they try to make it seem, and that we have urgent needs that need to be met now. And so that's why I'm asking you to join me and visit me online at michelletx15.com. Y vamos por 15. Gracias a todos.
Thank you. Eliza?
Thank you, Steve, and thank you to the Chamber for hosting this event. It was definitely lively and much appreciated. My name is Dr. Elisa Alvarado, and I'm your candidate for Texas Congressional District 15. A little bit about me: I am from Far Texas. I grew up here in the Rio Grande Valley. I went off to school. Initially, I thought I wanted to be a physician, and then I took a government class and decided that public service was for me. I've always had the support of my mom and my dad and my family. We grew up as migrant farm workers when I was young.
Don't forget a great mom too, she says.
Living in the state of Washington, we didn't speak any English. So at that time, there wasn't anywhere to put little kids that didn't speak any English except for special ed. So I got put in special ed, and afterwards, they finally decided to have a bilingual program. These are the types of issues.
Chuck,
and
or
these are the
a
types
roast
of
beef
topics
sandwich.
that we're gonna tackle.
Hey, those who know roast beef sandwich, right?
I'm an educator at heart, and I have the passion to do the work for District 15. I'm asking for your vote and your support. Dr. Elisa Barado. Thank you.
Thank you. John?
Thank you. So I've never held a political office. To date, I'm not a politician. I guess if I get elected, I will be. But I tell you one thing, I'm gonna go to Washington with a businessman mind. That is who I am. I'm a contractor, I'm an engineer, I'm a developer, I'm an attorney. Okay, I do infrastructure. I know the needs of our community. So I expect to go to Washington and take care of us. I'm gonna roll up my sleeves, I'm gonna get to work, and I'm gonna get to work for who? I'm gonna get to work for my constituents. I'm not gonna go to work for me. I'm not gonna go to work to do what I want. I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna have town halls, and I'm gonna see the people and ask them, guys, this is the legislation that's before us. What do you think? What do you want to do? It's not my vote in Washington, it's your vote. I've been up and down all the way to Sabine and back and talked to the precinct chairs, sheriffs, different people in higher positions in all the counties.
Then you're right,
And guess what? They have the same problems that we have. We're all in this together. We need to work at it together. And so when I get to Washington, I'm going to do what we need to do for us, okay? I'm a family man. I'm gonna look for what's best for our families. What's best for our families? Our teachers, our law enforcement, our border patrol. Those people have families that need to be cared for, and that's what I'm gonna look after. Juntos podemos hacer un cambio. Por favor, read me for Congress.com.
Shalasi, here she comes. Of course, she's got to stand up, right?
My name is Vanessa Stephanie Tijerina. I'm gonna hold my phone because that's where it all started for me, and most of my people are watching me right now, my voters. I want to thank all of the people that are here for all of these, excuse me? Oh, no, thank you, Don. For all of these people that are here, thank you so much for refraining from applauding, because that says a lot, because that was one of the rules. It says a lot about the team and the candidate, the ones that actually followed that rule. Also, all the questions that I didn't get to answer, I'll answer them on my Facebook page. Don't worry about that. You're gonna get my answers in depth. I have been a nurse for 25 years, which means I have the ability for a quarter of a century. I have identified issues, and I have applied and implemented solutions to those issues. So when people tell you that I don't have experience doing that, I have experience doing that. My father is a 20-year veteran of the armed forces. So believe me when I tell you that veterans' issues are my biggest priority, one of my biggest priorities. My son was one of 2.5 million people under the direction of Ruben Hinojosa, who failed to recognize that 2.5 million children were not getting special special education. When Texas ignored me, I brought down the U.S. Department of Education.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and please follow me on my page. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ruben, your closing remarks.
Thank you, Cynthia, Richard, Steve, for hosting and all your staff that helped out. And thank you for joining us tonight and becoming an informed voter. And to my Republican colleagues across the aisle, it's great meeting you all. Now, you know my story. I come from nothing. I was born and raised here, raised by a hardworking grandmother and father who instilled the value of hard work and ethics and knew the importance of a good education. They knew that education would break the bonds of poverty. And that's why I went to college and I became a teacher. I'm the only licensed teacher up here. I don't have a cushy job in some administration. I was on the front lines in the classroom teaching your sons and daughters, over 1,000 students, chemistry and physics, right? When my country needed me, I volunteered to go to Afghanistan. I didn't go for the money. I did it for duty. One of my favorite quotes is Martin Luther King that says, "The ultimate measure of man is not where he stands at times of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." And that's exactly it. This is a call of duty for me to help serve you. District 15, the same way that I volunteered for Afghanistan. It's another form of duty here, right? And I've run in 2016 too, when it was hard, right? I spent zero money then, but because it's a calling. I didn't try to run for judge.
All she has is doodles on that notebook she's got. You think she's taking notes? You really think so?
And I would be honored to serve you.
She's just sending hearts, pound those hearts. Oh, she's mocking him. She's mocking him. Oh my God, she's got boogers. Did you see that?
For answering the questions and something that can give us such in-depth responses. It's been a great conversation. Please, round of applause for all the candidates.
Now we clap. Now we're supposed to clap. This was when we were supposed to clap.
One more thing from me, for those people at home that enjoyed this, we care about all the congressional seats in South Texas. Just as this is an open seat, there's an open seat in District 34. Tomorrow evening at the same time, we'll be doing the same thing. Another candidate's for. Now,
yeah, she don't like him because people like him.
From Hispanic Chamber.
Thank you to everybody for attending, not only all of the contestants, which my hats off to you all for answering some tough questions. But again, thank you all, because I hope that by listening to some of these candidates, you have now gotten to know who they are, how they feel about certain topics, and what they bring to the table, which is very important to us, because they are going to be representing you. And that's what we feel the Hispanic Chamber has to do, is educate the public, not just because they're Democrats or they're Republicans, period. District 15. So it's best that you get to know them all. Please take the time to approach them in a bit as they come down and get to greet them. And again, thank you all so for coming. And again, thank you all thank our sponsors, STC, UTRGV. If you need any.
Thank you so much for all of my voters, everybody. I'm telling you, it wasn't tough here. It wasn't easy here. A lot of these people tried to be really intimidating with me. I'm like, look, they know I'm right here. Yeah. Don't, yeah.
The audio was
No, it
off from her
underhanded.
video.
It was underhanded.
I think she got a bad
I'm
connection.
gonna
She
talk
had a
about
bad
it.
connection.
I am. You already know I call you out, Ruben, when I need to.
No, I don't.
Yeah, man, I'm always talking about it. You're always talking about how you. No. Mm-mm. John's a gentleman, and he's never had you. No. Mm-mm. John, you have my back on this. I'm sorry, John, I have your back on this. Did you see what Ruben did to my gentleman right now? I mean, seriously.
I'm gonna go back so we can hear that again.
I am all for John. John, hold on.
Here, let me go back.
Oh, I'm right here?
She gets into it, Ruben.
Yeah.
Listen.
No, it was underhanded. It was underhanded. I'm going to talk about it. I am. You already know I call you out, Ruben, when I need to.
No, I don't.
Yeah, man, I'm always talking about it. You're always talking about how you. No. Mm-mm. John's a gentleman, and he's never had you. No. Mm-mm. John, you have my back on this. I'm sorry, John, I have your back on this. Did you see what Ruben did to my gentleman right now? I mean, seriously. I am all for John. John, hold on.
So she said something else. I won't go there. Don't worry.
That was underhanded. I know. Let's go ahead and get a selfie. This is the gentleman, John Villarreal. Julio's a gentleman too. For real, this is a gentleman. Okay, he's also running against me. I'm gonna let y'all go. I love you.
All righty. That was entertaining. It really was entertaining. And who was it that asked? I think it was Bahara. Whoops, let me turn this off. It really was entertaining. So I'm going to take a little break and I'm going to come back. I'm going to grab some other, the other video that she made as she was on her way to the forum, in which she got into an accident. And I heard that live was even more interesting than what we just saw right now. So I feel like that live was, I know, you know, the best way they put it, it's like a train wreck that you just you can't help but want to look and listen to the things coming out of her mouth. And it's just incredible. I'm going to take a quick break. I need some coffee and a couple other things, and I'm going to come back. I'm going to broadcast some of her earlier videos, and if she goes on live, I'll be streaming that too in a bit. Talk to you in a little bit.